Well, I think the immediate winner, at least in the short term over the last 2 or 3 years, has been the United States, because they've seen a very big improvement in their balance of payments. They've been producing more oil. They were previously the world's largest net importer of crude oil. Depending on whose statistics you take, they have now been surpassed by China as the world's largest net importer of crude oil, and that's made a big improvement on the US balance of payments, and it's also given them a lot more diplomatic leverage as they've become an oil superpower again. Although I don't think we should exaggerate it. They're still the second largest importer of oil globally, and personally I'm skeptical about claims that are made that the US will be energy independent by 2020. I think we're already seeing, in fact, with the amazing events in the oil market over the last 9 months, that OPEC has succeeded in its short-term target of reducing oil prices and putting pressure on not just their immediate geopolitical rivals in the Middle East, such as Iran or Russia, because of the role that Russia played in Syria, but also on the US as a major now commercial competitor, particularly to Saudi Arabia. I think the Saudi strategy has been to really try and put pressure on prices, because their view is, this is my interpretation of events, the shale revolution in the US requires high prices, certainly much higher prices than the Saudis and other OPEC members can produce for. And I think the evidence of the last 3 months, as we've seen the rig count in the United States drop very drastically, is you will see production in the US falling over the next few months. So I think to that extent, that's why we've seen oil prices come back. Look, I think there are going to be winners and losers. I think the US on a net basis is in a much better position than it was 5 or 10 years ago, but I'm very skeptical of the hype that the shale revolution is going to cure the world's long-term energy problems. I think we still have I think the global oil market is much more constrained on the supply side than most people realize. I think we will become more conscious of that over the next 2 to 3 years as the impact of the reductions in investment that have been taking place over the last 12 months start to have an impact over the next 2 years. So I think there are going to be winners and losers. The US undoubtedly has been the big winner so far. I think actually Saudi Arabia is re-establishing itself as the clear number one player in the global oil market. They are the lowest cost producer. But one other observation, I think whether we're talking about high oil prices or volatile oil prices, all of this goes to demonstrate the advantage of renewable energy in the future, where the cost curve is coming down very dramatically, solar energy becoming much more competitive, and the long-term cost of it, once you've built the installations, the source of energy itself is free. So I think the long-term winner in all of this is the renewable energy industry, and perhaps the long-term loser overall, whatever short-term advantages or disadvantages accrue from one country to another, the long-term loser overall is the fossil fuel industry longer term.